Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. I am here today hanging my head in a little bit of shame to bring you all my September book budgeting stats and book haul for the month, I think I've already said, of September. This would be the second month in a row, the third month overall this year, that I have gone over my budget. This is never something that I want to hide from you all, though I like to be very open and honest about these bookish goals that I have set for myself, and when I do follow through on them, yay, celebrating that, but when I do not follow through on them, also acknowledging that, and still being excited about the books that I acquired throughout this month. But for those of y'all who do not know or who might be new to my channel, I, at the beginning of this year, set a goal for myself that I would only spend $150 per month on books. This includes subscriptions and other book purchases as well. It's gone pretty well overall. There have been 2 months when I have spent over, but for the most part, we're on month 10 now. 7 out of those months have been, or I guess 6 out of those months have been really well, really good on going beneath or sticking beneath my book budgeting max, which is great. I do also allow my unhauls to go back into that book buying max, that book buying budget. So a lot of months I'll spend over $150 total, but when my unhaul factors into that, I end up being at less than that, which is great. September, not the case. I'll go ahead and break everything down for y'all first, and then of course show you all the books that I ended up acquiring. But this month, before my unhaul, I spent $354.03. Yikes. However, I did end up unhauling $94.80 worth of books, which means that the total number of dollars that I spent in September was $259.23. So not as bad as August, which was $350 pretty much, but not great either. Regardless of that, I'm excited to have all these books on my shelf, as I always am. I am reading and unhauling as I go, which is great, but these are all going to make a lovely addition to my collection, if I do say so myself. But I'll go ahead and break down spending costs for everything first, starting with my subscriptions. First up is Bookish box, which renews every month for $48. I also have my Eternal Embers subscription, which renewed for $65.99. And then my Audible subscription, which renewed for $15.96. And then my final subscription is for Probably Smut, which is normally $25, but in September it was $50 because they were adding on the first book in the series. They're doing special editions of Wildfire and Icebreaker by Hannah Grace for the book club. I wanted to get the add-on, so I did, and that went from $25 up to $50, but that's only for the month of September, which is great, because in October we will be back down to $25 for that subscription. Other than that, everything else was just standard books. I did have some special editions come in from previous subscriptions that I talked about in other months and things like that. So I'll go ahead and show you all those special editions first. First up, I got the Nikki Sloan books, The Pool Boy and the Doctor, from the Eternal Embers subscription. I believe this was their September pick, and I got it in September, but I was charged for it in August because their subscriptions always renew the month before. But I love these covers, they are beautiful. I've heard really good things about these books and that they are super spicy, which we always love to see. So I'm excited to get to those two. I will probably annotate them because even though they are special editions, there's nothing super crazy about them, and I feel like the pages are really thick and like I could write on them and annotate without having to worry about the ink bleeding through, which would be really nice. And then the other special editions that I got this month were my final Dark and Quirky subscription box. I was subscribed to them for several months for their standard subscription, which was 4 hardcovers every season of the year. I canceled right before their subscriptions for the fall renewed, so I got my summer box from them, and these should be the last books that I receive from them ever. I'm not being charged for the boxes anymore, which is good. So I did not pay for these in September. I would have paid for them in previous months when I talked about how my Dark and Quirky subscription had renewed. First up, we got Don't Kiss the Bride by Carrie Ann Cole. I love this cover. Sprayed edges are beautiful. Cannot wait to read this one. I'm also loving their interior formatting recently. Then I also got The Alias by Lena Hendricks. Again, stunning. I love this so much and cannot wait to read this book specifically after that interior cover. And then I got In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. Again, beautiful, beautiful. I am obsessed with this box that I got from Dark and Quirky. And then the last book was Fake Empire. And these might be my favorite sprayed edges with the chess pieces. I just think these books are stunning. So again, I spent $0 on those books this month. Everything else that I got was a standard edition of a book. So I'll go ahead and dive right into those and talk about the cost of each one as I go through them very quickly. I never spend too much time talking about the books that I get in my monthly hauls, but a lot of them will probably be featured in future videos and vlogs and things like that. First, on like the very first day of September, my parents were in town and we went to Franklin, Tennessee, and we went to this beautiful little bookstore called, I had the bookmark somewhere, I don't know where it went, called, I think it's Landmark Booksellers, and they had used, new, rare books, all the stuff. And so I got 3 books from them for $83.39, which was definitely a lot, but also I love to support small bookstores. First, I got The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This is a classic. I've had some friends in my program at school say really good things about that book. I also got The St. Ambrose School for Girls, which is a thriller. And then With My Little Eye by Jocelyn Jackson is another thriller that I got just in time for spooky season. I also got You Again by Kate Goldbeck. I got this when Barnes & Noble was doing one of their 25% off pre-order thingamajigs. So I pre-ordered this one from them and I got it for $12.15. I also got The Name Drop by Susan Lee from Parnassus Books for $22.21. I got to go hear Susan talk with some other authors about her new book and just life, and it was so entertaining. It was so much fun and I really wanted to support her, so I got this book and cannot wait to read it. It is a young adult rom-com and I think it sounds so much fun, and so I'm excited to have this one on my shelf. I also got There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil by Sophie Lark for $15 total, including shipping. These are the illustrated copies. I wanted to add them to my collection and reread them now that they've got the illustrations. I have read the first book like last year, I think, but I wanted to read book 2 and reread the first book because it was so good before diving into the second one, since it does kind of end on a cliffhanger, I believe. But one of my friends was selling these and she sold them to me for super cheap, so heck yes, I'll take it. And then I got Tell Me I'm Worthless, which is a horror book, for $17.99. I also got this one from another indie bookstore called not Parnassus, Novelette. It opened up, I believe, earlier this year, or maybe last year, and I wanted to go find a spooky read for spooky season. I wanted to support their bookstore and check them out since I had not yet been there, even though I've been living here for over a year at this point. So I was excited to walk out of here with this one in my hands. And then the last book that I got in September, I got for $23.34, and that is an anthology by a bunch of romance authors in support of Maui and the people there who were suffering from all the wildfires a few weeks ago. And so I got this book called Aloha, and like the back of this Aloha collection says that all royalties from this collection will be donated to Maui Food Banks and the Maui Fire Relief Fund to help support the survivors of the devastating fires, which I think is a really cool thing for these authors to do at this time. So wanted to support them and get this book, but also support Maui at this devastating time for that island and those people over there. But yes, those are all the books that I got in the month of September. My total spent after my unhaul again was $259.23, and that's okay. It is what it is. We will be okay. Hopefully October is so much better. I'm excited to hopefully come back here in a month and be able to sit down and tell y'all without a doubt that I spent less than my book budgeting max of $150. Fingers crossed. So that is all that I have for y'all today. If you have read any of these books, feel free to comment down below and let me know your thoughts on them. I would love to hear your reviews of these books if you have read any of them. But anyway, fingers crossed, I will see y'all here again in October with a better outcome for the month in terms of my spending habits. But it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna be fine. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.